My name is Thom Page. I'm a lawyer up in Connecticut, and I work with an amazing guy by the name of Richard Rosenthal. Many of you probably know who he is, and he got a hold of me about 4 years ago on a case in Connecticut. So I was asked to come here today and try to explain the lawsuit that we currently have against NYC ACC and the city of New York. And the laws are so screwed up in many states across the country, certainly in New York. And what has happened, if you know the dog Caesar and the Panettiaries, who are our plaintiffs, the dog was involved in a bite incident. The city of New York took him on a hold. They've been holding him since May 17th. He got extremely sick. He was rushed to emergency surgery in the end of July, intubated, got pneumonia. And that is the fact pattern that gave us the opportunity to bring the suit that many people in the New York community have been asking Richard to bring for years, which is a challenge against the conditions of which ACC holds these animals. And as everybody in this audience, I'm sure, knows, there's about a 95 to 100% chance that a healthy dog entering ACC will come out a sick dog.
Exactly.
In various forms. And so this lawsuit does not challenge. Richard and I have a lot of federal lawsuits, all on behalf of dogs on death row. But this lawsuit specifically is challenging the conditions of care that ACC provides. And strangely enough, there's a law on the state books of New York, and it's the animal abuse statutes. And it says if you don't provide good, clean air to an animal that you're holding, you violated the animal abuse statutes of the state of New York. Well, ACC is violating that law, and that is a fundamental basis of our lawsuit, that they cannot hold these animals and violate the animal abuse laws at the same time. And then we do this almost all exclusively in federal court, because if you do that, just think about it, if you break the law and you're holding my property, my dog, it has to be an unreasonable hold. And an unreasonable seizure and hold under the United States Constitution is a Fourth Amendment violation of your rights. That's the basis of the suit. And so I'm going to introduce Richard in a second. I want to finish just by saying it's extremely important to us in this lawsuit and the success of this lawsuit that anybody who is an owner, still an owner of a dog on a hold being held in any of the 3 ACC shelters has a 90-some-odd% chance of getting sick. I know that's going to happen, but I need owners who have dogs, who have not given up their dogs, who can become plaintiffs in the suit. Right now, Mr. and Mrs. Panettiere are the 2 plaintiffs. The suit is being brought as a class action on behalf of all owners of dogs on a DOH hold, whether it's for a bite or whether it's a rabies hold, we don't care. As long as it's a hold, and we know they're going to get sick, they will qualify as a plaintiff. So if anybody in the audience is in a shelter, overhears a conversation, talks to anybody, and they know that my friend Sally's dog bit somebody, they came, they picked it up, they put it in the shelter, the dog's getting sick, Sally's the plaintiff. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten so far where the dog can be the plaintiff, but we're working on that. So I'd like to, I don't really need to introduce this next guy who's going to talk. He has literally changed my life. 4 years ago, he called me and said, I need an attorney in Connecticut, and I didn't know who he was. He said his name was Richard Rosenthal, and could I help him file some pleadings in a Connecticut court case? And I said, sure, and we did it. We got the case resolved in a matter of months, and Richard went back to New York, and I went back to Hartford, and we then, our paths did not cross. And about 2.5 or so years ago, Richard called and said, hey, you still practicing law? And I said, unfortunately, yes. And he said, listen, I got this case, and it was actually a case in Connecticut. And since then, I talk to Richard 3 or 4 times a day on a cell phone, 6 to 7 days a week. He has changed my life completely. He is known across the country, schools and bar associations, flying around the country to speak about this stuff. I tell the story. I say to people, I hang out with the Elton John of dog law, and I don't say that lightly at all. And for myself, we've all watched ESPN baseball tonight. There's some guy from Cuba. He plays third base for the Phillies, and the broadcaster says, you know, what do you think about becoming a pro baseball player? And he says, when I was growing up on the sand lots in Havana, I never would have imagined that someday I'd be playing third base for the Phillies. That's me today. Thank you very much.